The tone of your voice makes a big difference in how you are perceived. I have known people who come across as being mean and pushy, but once you get to know them, you find out that they are the kindest people you will meet. Sometimes people do not realize how they sound when they talk to others. But if they want to be more effective at dealing with others, they must learn to recognize how they project themselves. Solomon wrote in Proverbs 15:1, "A soft answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger." If you know the tone of your voice is perceived as being gruff or mean-sounding, then it is important that you work on how you use your voice. Obviously, there are certain things you cannot control about the sound of your voice, but you can change how loud you speak and what words you use. Learning to control the tone of your voice can make the difference between having a peaceful discussion with someone and having it get out of control. When we combine harsh words with an aggressive tone of voice, disaster is soon to follow. It can be challenging to have a conversation with someone when the topic is something you are very passionate about. If the person disagrees with you, it becomes more difficult to remain calm, but we must take heed to Solomon's advice. Of course, the Bible has much more to say about how we should use our tongues. Proverbs 15, verse 18. "A wrathful man stirs up strife, but he who is slow to anger allays contention." Proverbs 25:11. "A word fitly spoken is like apples of gold in settings of silver." Even if we have a discussion about something important to us, we can always get our point across more effectively if we choose our words wisely and we do it with a soft tone. People are less intimidated if you disagree with them in a soft voice. However, when we raise our voices and project ourselves with many words, it usually causes the person we are talking to go into defensive mode. Once that happens, nothing good will come from that conversation. As Christians, we must learn to use our words and our tone wisely. This is not something that will happen overnight, but the more we improve, the more effective we can be at being good examples for the cause of Christ. There will always be those who will disagree with you, especially when it comes to what the Bible teaches. If we want to have the best opportunity to teach others about what God's Word says and help them to have an open mind, we must continue to watch our tone and the words that we use. The last thing we should want is to turn someone away from God because we lost control of our tongues. Let us do our best to take the advice of Solomon to heart and use a soft answer to turn away wrath. Also, let us take to heart what James said in James 1:19. "So then, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath, for the wrath of man does not produce the righteousness of God." Using the right words and the right tone is something we all need to continue to work on because we can all make improvements in this area. Let us never forget how destructive our words can be if we do not use self-control. Notice what else James tells us about the tongue. In James 3 and verse number 5. "Even so the tongue is a little member and boasts great things. See how great a forest a little fire kindles. And the tongue is a fire, a world of iniquity." The tongue is so set among our members that it defiles the whole body and sets on fire the course of nature and is set on fire by hell. For every kind of beast and bird, of reptile and creature of the sea is tamed and has been tamed by mankind. But no man can tame the tongue. It is an unruly evil, full of deadly poison. With it we bless our God and Father, and with it we curse men, who have been made in the similitude of God. Out of the same mouth proceeds blessing and cursing. My brethren, these things ought not to be so. James has taught us how hard it is to control the tongue and how destructive it can be. So let us never stop trying to improve our tone and the words that we use so we can be the best servants of God that we can be. I leave you with these words from Paul, Colossians 4, verse number 6. "Let your speech always be with grace, seasoned with salt, that you may know how you ought to answer each one."